Hello, beloveds. Welcome to this grainy video. My laptop has decided that it's just not going to function. So, here we are on the new moon with all kinds of things that are closing and dying and completing so that all of the new beautiful beginnings can take root and arrive. So we're just going to go ahead and set our intention, calling in the highest light of truth, welcoming the messages and the revelations that help to bring us into the meaning and the understanding of the developing stories in our life and the developing curriculums and circumstances that are presenting, and asking for clarification on how to address and take action, how to be with this energy and make the most of it. So be it. Yeah. All right. So new moon in Cancer. This has been a big one, y'all. Like, I wonder how you've been navigating it. The solstice was weird. It was like such a time of, I've said this to a few people now, but it was a time that felt like a slippery bar soap. Like you couldn't quite put your hand on it. You couldn't figure out where it was going to go. And like even looking at like the things that have been happening in the world, it's just a lot of like sleight of hand almost. Can't tell where it's actually going to end up. So new moon in Cancer has very much been about right relationship, about balanced giving and receiving and boundaries, and like, you know, analyzing what relationships are feeding you in the ways that you need versus maybe the way that you want, and you know, how much are you feeding your relationships, how much are you providing and showing up, and really this balance of giving, receiving, heart activation. A lot of feels, so many feels in the field. So I'm going to take this time right now. If you're new to the channel, hello, welcome. My name is Miramai, and today we're going to dive into these energies. If you like the video, hit the subscribe so you can get more, and hit the like button. Help me out with the algorithms so that we can share this with more people. So we're going to go ahead and drop into the major theme for this new moon, looking at what the collective energy is. Of course, as we just changed seasons with the solstice, the request is to trust the seasons and to really embrace the change, the cycles of life, transition of growth. This is what I have come to today myself, is recognizing unconscious tendencies to resist the transition, or maybe it's not even all of it, maybe it's just a part of it. And everything has its time and its evolutionary cycle, and when we try to hold on to the decaying material, it makes us sick. You think about things like mold, you think about my mind's been on mycelium and fungus, so it feeds on decayed, dying material. And when we hold on to that, it breeds inconsistency, it breeds distrust, it breeds bacteria, or discord with ourselves and with the evolution, with the release. So our message is to contemplate this. What we do comes and goes in the passage of time, but what we become as divine beings, embracing our divinity from the perspective of a human experience, remains with us for eternity. It's a puzzling time. It's a puzzling time, or that's my current experience. And that there's so much happening out there to distract us that it can really get disorienting, and it's only going to increase. I've found my body had to slow me down to be able to listen and drop in and go, oh, that's what's occurring. So this says ear chakras to listen more. Notice messages that appear as sounds, music, and words from both external sources and within your mind. These messages are real answers to your prayers. So let's just get a little bit of clarification, Spirit. Like where can we be directing most of our, they're using the word intelligence rather than energy. Like where should we be directing most of our intelligence right now? She of the Serpent Skirt. This is from the Jade Mind Oracle deck. This is I don't think I've ever gotten this card. She of the Serpent Skirt. Yeah. So this is what it looks like. This is a emanation of the spirit of the earth, and her myth figures heavily in the Aztec migration story. She's associated with death, fertility of the earth, and medicinal plants, and all healers call to her in mythology. She gave birth to the moon, the stars, and she embodies the dark and the light, all that is opposite and complementary. When you need to be grounded in the earth or connect with your heart and cut attachments, she invites you to reinvent yourself and let go of what does not serve you. This archetype taps into the ancient wisdom of recurring cycles. There you have it. Helping you understand the lessons so that you can become your best and highest self. Each time that a woman heals herself, she helps me to heal the earth that is me. All is sacred. That's powerful messaging. This last quarter moon was about our history, and are we ready to release the historical documents that we've held in our body that have played out as our behaviors and our patterns and our attractions. And in this new moon, this is actually the place where we answer that. So life is probably providing you the opportunity to answer that by doing something different. By realizing, oh, this is the same thing, and this is how it's the same thing, and I really want to stay committed to clearing that history and rewriting it, having a clean slate. So if you're confused right now, the first thing that I would suggest is really looking at the cycles that you're in. First thing is looking at like the smaller cycle of the season on the land that you're at. And then looking larger, like at life, which can happen, we have these, cycles that can happen in 3 years and 7 years, and then, 50 years, and there's other ones in between there, but I'm just giving you some ideas. What is the bigger cycle that you're in? And are you really fully attuned to it? If it's a time of letting go, are you really honoring that? Or are you going forward and trying to avoid the completion of that? Or are you trying to hold on to the sweetness, the goodness, as you're dipping down into like the fall and the winter and into the underworld? Where are you at, and can you be honest with yourself? Contemplate that what we do comes and goes in the passage of time, but what we become as divine beings, embracing our divinity from the perspective of a human experience, remains with us for eternity. I think that won't even fully resonate until we come to understand the lessons that we are learning at this time, because I believe for many in the release of all of the stories, it's quite hard to be in appreciation mode for what we have no idea is happening in the process. Shall we gain a little bit more clarity? All right, Spirit. And what are the tools that will support us? How can we support ourselves, support the world? Because it's a larger dying. We are witnessing the death of I don't want to get too analytical about it, but it's the end of an era of how we relate to one another. And we're learning through the contrast of what we don't want. And yet it doesn't necessarily mean that we personally don't have to be in that. We can actually learn right now through the grace of love. We can learn through pleasure instead of pain. We can learn through trust instead of regret. And we can be our full human experience. But this is a time, it's going to require resiliency and honesty with the self, and really watching tendencies to try to extract or take or hold on, or like one of the things that I tracked a while back is that when I would avoid grief or what it is it's the grief that comes from the loss of connection, and everyone in the world is feeling this. And I'm not going to go on my whole rant about ChatGPT, but there are a lot of deceptive things that are breaking down our quality of connection, and social media, ChatGPT, porn. There's a lot of false connections that we have invested in, and it's leading us into behavioral patterns, these unconscious behavioral patterns of trying to resource what we're really looking for in true connection from other places. So what I was saying is, one of the things I noticed is that when I was not feeling the connection, I would instead like go buy something. And what it would do is it would give me this chemical release that would relieve it for a little bit. And this is the same thing for like addictions. You know, it would relieve the discomfort for a bit. And really all we're wanting to connect. We're wanting to feel seen and heard and held and loved. And ultimately this goes all the way back to like an original wound, to the separation of the mother. to the loss of the trust in the Father. And that's what's healing through this time. So the tools that we have to work with. Movement. This talks about finding the flow, letting go of the things that keep you from moving and from growing. This card is a reminder to allow yourself to remain in the flow and avoid getting stuck. Remember, in this space, all possibilities exist. Movement, that's your tool, that's your guide. If you don't feel yourself moving, if you don't feel yourself growing, that whatever that impediment is, it's done. It's dead. It's dying. Grieve it, let it go, honor it, give it a proper burial. And then be really cautious of those behaviors. See if you can spot your tendencies that you default to give you that temporary fulfillment, temporary satisfaction. Don't overdo things. Don't take too much. Really watch out for that. So that's a point to identify, is if there's anywhere that you're watching too much TV, you're listening to too much podcasts, you're drinking too much alcohol or coffee, you're smoking too many cigarettes, you're connecting too much with somebody who's not actually like in a proper reciprocal relationship with you. Instead, go within and also call on all of the incredible beings that are around us and really available in a way that I don't think that we've ever really had that kind of access to. Maybe a long time ago. But for all of us living here on the planet now, the veil has never been so thin. And so you need to actually call and listen. If you're in a practice of, praying, it doesn't really matter who to, but, if you're in a practice of praying and connecting with guides, guardians, angels, Jesus, Mary Magdalene, whatever it is, devas, star beings, ancestors, if you're not stopping to listen, then what's the point? You need to make a space to commune with them, and like really creating, if they were to show up as human beings, how would you be with them? Would you set a sacred space? Would you light a candle? Would you like show up in a way that you're at your best dressed, inside and out? Would you listen? Would you give them attention? And then the other tool here is sacrifice. This is a time of sacrifice. The thing that you feel like you can't live without, the thing that you just has been so hard to let go, now is the time. This is it. I mean, we've been getting this message for a while, and I think that there are many people who have been doing this layer by layer by layer. And anything that is preventing your flow, it's time to sacrifice that. Anything that's not lighting your heart up, it's time to lovingly return it back into its natural cycle. This is a rare intersection of heaven and earth. Ta-na-na. And I'll read from this card. I didn't feel compelled to read from any of the other ones. We've got number 44 here with the sacrifice. We've got the council, the number 11. Got 5, which is a number that breaks, that completes. I think we also had a 5 in the last quarter moon. So this is like, this is it. This is the end of many stories. Your plans and purpose are aligned with greater cosmic forces, and whether you see it coming or not, things will fall into place, and what you have been working towards will come to fruition. A rare intersection of heaven and earth will result in a precious manifestation of grace. The divine shall correct a situation that is in need of realignment. Fear not. Pray boldly and be faithful. All is well. Your soul is a facilitator of sacred union between the spiritual realms and the earthly world. Whether you do this as an artist, healer, activist, priestess, shaman, or in some other way, honor your path and your purpose. Take care of yourself and prioritize your spiritual life according to the practices and methods that help you remain open, connected, and grounded with your heart. Trust the seasons. Trust the seasons. There's a lot that's happening in the world that is desiring your attention and your energy and your emotion and all of these forms of empowerment just by putting our attention on it. And that's the old story too, is how much power we've given away as a collective and allowed that to be channeled into war, allowed it to be channeled into negative forces on the planet. If we're not conducting our life force into these traps that are control dramas that play on our fear, that are designed to trigger the parts of us that feel unsafe and unstable. If we don't right now start rising above that, we will get caught in that vortex, and it'll be very hard to know false reality from reality, from the living light, from the false light, and deception from truth. Now's the time to get still and to practice the trust and the courage in this great departure, that there is a beginning beyond it. And in time, we'll know that, we'll feel that, we'll appreciate it. But right now, it's time to put to bed and to complete what is already gone. So my prayer to you all is that if this touches your heart in a way that makes it tender or scared, that you do feel the loving embrace of all the beautiful angels, especially Archangel Raphael, who is a great companion for soothing the pain of the human experience and helping one to feel the promise of their soul, the compassion and the safety of their soul. May we all find peace and live in harmony. And may it start with us and our choices. And if you like this, hit like. And my hope is the next time I'm on here that it's back with my system running top gear. Thanks for arriving here in this space, for all that you do, all that you are, all that you are not. And until we meet again, stay pure and keep it simple. Pura vida.